Welcome back to episode 5. Is this 5?
This is number 5.
Episode 5 of the Part Out podcast. Today we have no guest, and after 3 episodes with a guest, it'll be different to not be interviewing someone again.
Yeah, how do you feel about the fact that we don't have a guest? No guest. That's what I feel inclined to ask.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's a good, how big is your store?
Yeah, nobody.
Yeah. So today's topic is sourcing and sorting bulk used Lego.
Yes, so we're sort of following the chain of where we started with should I start? Should I sell used? And then once you decide you're going to sell used, how do you take the jump and try to get into it?
Yeah. So, I mean, we can just start off here with going through places that we have sourced or have sourced from, and maybe do we want to start off with where we first sourced Lego?
Yeah, that'd be great. The first thing I can remember getting used bulk from was Craigslist, and this was before I knew that Facebook Marketplace had overtaken Craigslist in prevalence, at least in my area. So I was just on there every day, and Lego would get posted about once every 2 weeks. So it was just mainly disappointing. And then every once in a while something showed up, and I had no idea what to spend. I just thought, okay, $100 for a tote is good. And if I saw something like that, I'd always do it. But I had no idea what to pay by weight or volume or anything like that.
Yeah, my first bulk purchase was, I think I talked about it in the first episode, but it was just a kid down the street was selling his collection, and it was just a bunch of sets in a bin.
Yeah.
I can't remember the first time I bought bulk used just in a bin. I don't even remember. My main spot is Craigslist. At least where I live, Craigslist is way better than Facebook Marketplace. There are 5 new listings posted every day. Usually they're kind of
Mid.
well, it's like a repost of something, but I think a bulk lot gets posted probably 4 or 5 times a week.
Wow.
Within 30 miles of me.
Yeah, that's definitely not the case here. It's a lot of the Facebook.
Yeah.
I remember though the week I got on Facebook Marketplace, I bought 3 things that week, 3 bulk lots, and I was just so stoked that I found a better platform to source bulk parts from.
Yeah. So I think that we could just list off just real quick. I think so Craigslist is good. Facebook Marketplace. There's OfferUp, and what used to be Let Go. They merged.
Yeah.
I have found some good stuff on OfferUp near me. It may not be as big in areas that you live, but I mean, just definitely try all these. Those are kind of the best for local stuff.
Yeah. Also Nextdoor.
Nextdoor, okay.
Sometimes.
Yeah, worth a try. Can't hurt. And then there are, online sources if you don't have local, if you're not in kind of a bigger city area, where there are a lot of people locally selling stuff, you can go online and there's the eBay, of course, which I think it's pretty hard to find good used bulk lots.
Yeah, very competitive, but always product.
I should find this site. There was a site I used to use that some guy made that
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
It
it compares eBay listings in dollars per pound.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, I've been on it. I was on that site for a while when I first started, but it started pulling up McDonald's toy lots. Stuff like that.
That's interesting. I haven't used it in a long time, but I definitely have used it in the past. Do you remember what that was called? I
have no idea.
It was some
the
dude's
code
name.
started the code started pulling other toy lots.
Okay. I found the website. It's called johncrayton.org/Lego by pound. I'm going to pull it up on screen.
How do you
right
spell
now.
Creighton?
Craton. And
John
is
Creighton what?
JON. JONCRATON.org/ or you can just go, you'll find it, Lego by pound. So I'm looking at this site right now, and it has, yeah, not 10 pounds for 378 a pound, 9 pounds for 390 a pound. Yeah, so it has all these, and this sorts. You can sort by best, newest, or you can go to auctions. And man, Lego by like I used to find stuff below $3 pretty frequently on here. But yeah, you can just kind of go through and there's it has the price per pound, and we'll go over that later what you want to pay per pound. But if you're also looking at online sources, there is Shop Goodwill, which is like Goodwill's version of eBay.
Yeah, and maybe the worst kept secret in the Lego reselling community.
Yeah.
A lot of people I talk to are always like, "Oh, I wish people didn't know about it," and I feel that way somewhat because definitely a year ago this time I could like force a win on 5 auctions a night. Much harder to do now.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's still there. You know, it's the free market, man. So bid what you're willing to pay.
Yeah.
And you'll never be disappointed.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I find I think stuff still goes for below $5 a pound on there.
Yeah. And
all the
that
time.
is the gold standard for whatever reason these days is $5 a pound. I think you could safely pay up to $7 a pound, but if it's only you and you're not sort of operating at volume, best to keep it below because you can and it's readily available, even down to 4.
Yeah, and that
if you're
number differs whether like depending on what's in it. If there's non-Lego, if it's really dirty, or like minifigs. I think are the main sort of
Yes, for sure.
you know driver of that price and what you should be willing to pay. Are how many minifigs are in it? Are there minifigs in it? Because if there aren't, I wouldn't pay $5 a pound.
No, and you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I really like to be able to visualize or just actually upload my cost of a lot like within an hour of getting it. And I think that's just a big key to selling used parts in general is just building up your knowledge slowly until you are confident enough to buy things and just look through it, and even if there's not many figures, to know what sort of things will sell.
Yeah. And I think that $5 is that just based. I don't know where that number came from.
I think it came from the original sort of estimate for most things is like 500 pieces per pound.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of closer to 650 when there's in the modern era, because the modern era has a lot more Technic parts. So 80s, 90s lots probably are about 500 parts a pound because the builds back then were much more brick, heavy, and not sort of these intricate like cheese slopes and small tiles. But yeah, so anything sort of older is about 500 parts per pound. So I think the main thinking is people want to get their used parts for about a penny out the door. I don't even list things for under, and I've thought about this. This is a different topic in general. Is I've thought about having a minimum piece like price point, because my thinking is somebody won't turn down my red brick because it's $7 and the average or 7 cents and the average is 4 cents.
Right.
So it's possible that it's thrown away revenue, and that's not something I've tried yet. But maybe next month I'll go in on Brickstore and manually reprice everything under like 5 cents and up it. Because then if I know I'm getting my parts for a penny, it's at least a 5 times. But obviously there's the processing costs and whatnot.
Yeah, so I guess that kind of covers where to get it and what you're looking for, or I guess what you're looking to pay.
I guess we could go over just general like bartering strategies.
Yeah, sure.
Because I feel like I've learned a lot.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're gonna buy something and something's on Craigslist or OfferUp or Facebook, usually the price is not firm. Like sometimes they'll say like price is firm, and usually the price is too high anyway, and then you don't want to buy it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't hurt on when you're buying something to try to get it for less money, because that's kind of like you don't want to spend more money, do you?
Yeah.
So yeah, some bartering strategies.
Yeah, so something I started doing when I was heavy on the local stuff is I'd message. So it's sort of I don't think it's scummy or scammy. I just think it's smart. Is in one message, you say, "Would you do?" So let's say the price is 250. You say, "Would you do 220 and I can pick up in an hour?" So they hear I can pick up in an hour. Might as well take the 220. I hear I'm saving $30, and obviously you may not have this luxury because I was just a student at the time with only online classes, so I really did whatever. My schedule was always clear, so it was always the case that I could just jet over there and pick it up, and that's really a big upside to have is because most sellers locally I found really just prefer the first person that gets there instead of arranging a time like let's say 2 days in advance.
Yeah, I mean, just to make $20 or $30.
Yeah, yeah,
That
$20 more.
that's the strategy I use a lot too. And I think one really important thing, is put like contact information, like put everything in one message. If you just message
Yeah,
and you say, "Hey, is this still available?" The chances are they just don't respond.
yeah,
Like
especially on
always,
Facebook Marketplace
yeah,
because that's the automated thing that Facebook wants you to send.
right. So yeah, Facebook or like when I mostly buy on Craigslist. I sends an email, or if a text is amazing. And when they put
Yeah,
their number on there, that's great. That always like
yeah,
every time there's a phone number, and if I get if I see the listing within a few hours,
and
I win it. That's it.
yeah,
Um,
and if there's a phone number, there's also the lucky outcome that you may get some ads for diet pills in your messages later.
yep. Um, yeah. So the other day I'm gonna move my camera. If you see up there the Imperial Flagship, um, I I saw it posted. Some dude listed it for $500, and as a collector of Lego ships, that's an amazing price, because that set used on average goes for like $770.
Yeah.
The part out value is 900, and so I never was gonna buy that set at full price, but the opportunity presented itself, and I messaged him, and I, all right, he had his number. I texted him. I was like, hey, I can come pick this up today.
Hmm.
He was responding fast, and
Yeah.
he was like, I have 6 other people interested, and I was like, okay, would you take 450 if I came and picked it up right now? And he was like, yep. And so I went.
Perfect.
I got 450.
Yeah. The main motive. So I guess this is something. Understand your seller's motive. The eBay listing of 1 pound of bulk parts. The seller's motive there is profit. Because they are doing what we're doing. They're buying a lot at a time, and they're doing the most basic sort, getting the non-Lego and figures out, and then they're selling it. The mama four who is trying to clean the house and it has listed something. Her motive may not be as money driven as it is get these things off my floor. I'm tired of stepping on them. So understand where the seller's coming from, but also try not to be rude with offers and respect the people that aren't flexible on price because that's their right and they're looking for a price and they want to get it. That's on them to wait for it. Something I've done too, if something's like let's say 45 minutes out or an hour, I'll say I can do like let's say again $200 is the listing. I would say something like, can you do 175 if I picked it up, or I can do full price if you drop it off. And that's worked before. Or I've even like for example there was a lot for I think like $100 was the listing price, and it had some very good old Star Wars stuff. And it was that I think that price was like at $3 a pound, the 100. So I messaged them, hey, I'll give you 125 because they're like 30 minutes out if you drop this off tonight. And he was like, great. And he did it. He drove over, got cash in hand, and I got some some 6.6L light bluish gray bars for sale that night.
Umbrella bars. I love
Yeah.
those.
Yeah, they are a winner. And I think that's a good segue for this week's weekly winners.
Yes.
Lest we forget.
Yeah, we should not forget weekly winners. I'm
That
happy to
would
go
be-
first. I love my
Yeah,
winner.
I'm happy for you to go first. I'm
Well,
stoked to hear what you have to say because we haven't talked all day and I don't know what you're going to pick.
okay, so my winner this week is part number 30155, wheel spoked 2x2 with pinhole in light bluish gray.
Yes.
Came in some Indiana Jones. It came in one Indiana Jones set and one. It's in like a UCS set, Star Wars. Is that right?
Is that? I thought it was only the Indiana Jones set,
No,
but that
it's in.
would make more sense.
There's one in the Y-wing Attack Starfighter UCS from 2004.
Oh.
There are 6 in the Race for the Stolen Treasure from Indiana Jones 2008. So that set, I find it more than I should. I feel like I just sold 8 of these parts in light bluish gray for $10.95 each, and the average right now is $10.47 used. Although this part is good in a lot of different colors, like light gray. It's not as good as that, but like for a wheel in light gray, it's 76 cents. In dark gray, it's 35 cents. There are some good ones. In white, it's good, but that part in general, like, has not been made since 2008. 2008 was the last time that was made. It was in that Indiana Jones set, and that was it. So whenever you find the 2x2 spoked wheel with pinhole, it's a good part.
Yes.
Bolo.
You should bolo. Just let's be honest. You should bolo.
You should bolo.
All right. I will. So I'm cheating in the sense that I have 2 parts, but they go together, and every set that has one has the other. It's 2 wedges. It's the wedge 8x3x2 open left and right. So the part numbers are 41749 and 41750. And in light bluish gray, I think there is a price difference on the 2 sides. So the left has sold for an average of $6, and the right has sold for an average of $2.40. So for whatever
weird.
reason, and this conundrum actually happens in the original Slave 1 with the 6x2 sand green wedges. One of them's like $13 and the other is $4. I think what it is just for whatever reason there was a higher demand for one of them at some point, and now just people keep pricing off the price guide. So it's one of the scenarios where the price is that way because it is, and not for maybe any concrete reason.
Right.
But that being said, this comes in, I think, 4 sets in that color, 5 sets in light bluish gray. So it's you'll find it, and when you do, you'll put it for sale and sell it.
We have finished our weekly winners, and now we're going to get back to bartering strategies.
Yes.
And so I think the next thing I was going to say is I bought a bulk lot recently. It was about 50 pounds, and he had it listed for 200. David, you remember this one. Had a bunch of minifigs. I saw 90s minifigs. Some things that were in it are right here.
You can see some winners at Bricklink store.
This armor is $15. Each of the top head and the bottom head are each like $15. The torso is $10.
That is if you'd sell them.
If it's a Pirates one, I can't sell it.
That's the rule. I don't make the rules.
I just found I just dropped this onto my chair, but owls. There were like 30 owls that I'm gonna list pretty soon here. Those are good parts. Like just like stuff like that was in there. But anyway, he had it listed for $200, and I would have paid full price, but I caught it so early after he posted it that I was like, I could probably bargain with this guy. And so I was emailing him, and because he didn't have his number on there, and he had mentioned in the listing there was non-Lego in there, and there was non-Lego. I think it was not great. It was probably about 25% non-Lego, but there's so much good stuff that it makes up for it. Anyway, I said to him, I was like, hey, since there's so much non-Lego, would you take 150? Which is, I think, lower than I usually try to bargain with somebody. And he replied to the email and said 160, and I was like, okay, that's kind of a no-brainer. $3 a
Yeah.
pound for a 90s bulk lot with minifigs.
Too good.
It doesn't matter if there's non-Lego in it. Just so many good parts in that lot. But I guess that doesn't even have anything to do with the fact that I bartered for it by mentioning something that wasn't ideal about the lot. I don't know. I felt kind of like weird about, but it worked.
Yeah, it is. It is a strategy for sure, and there's a thin line between insulting their product
Right.
and trying to make a point.
Right. And I only said that because in the description he was like, he said there's some non-Lego, but it's mostly Lego. And so I messaged and I was like, hey, so since there's, oh, and then when I picked it up, he had an extra bin that I didn't even know about. There was probably another 10 pounds, and it was all it was all brown log panels from Fort Legoredo.
That's something too. Is if somebody is selling and you pick it up locally, or I mean mainly if you pick it up, it's always worth it to ask. And if you have any other Lego, I'd be interested as well, because sometimes people do sell their Lego lots sort of separately.
Yeah,
and I've had it before where I didn't even ask, but they're like, "Do you like other Lego stuff?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll take a look." And it's always worked out well, and I've always got the other thing they brought.
Yep. Yeah, that was I went to pick up a bulk lot that I found an offer up. There you go.
Hey,
doesn't happen very often, but
doesn't
when it
happen very
does-
often.
Yeah, I was picking it up and I didn't even ask about extra stuff. I picked it up, I left. Then within like 2 minutes, she texts me and she was like, "Hey, my husband said we have more. He thinks we have more in the garage. I found it. Do you want it? Do you want it?" And I was like, "Uh-huh." And so I turned around, I went back, and I had bought, I think I ended up getting about 55 pounds for like $100.
Yeah, and I guess final local strategy is just post. If anybody's cleaning out Lego, I'd be interested. I've not had the best of luck. I've only gotten one lot from that, but I paid $2 a pound. So
That's nice.
so it's worth the 5 minutes it takes to throw a post on Craigslist and Nextdoor and any of your local Facebook, maybe neighborhood groups or whatever.
Yeah, one thing I did once, which I'm also going to share, I guess, I don't know, I kind of, like, it definitely made people mad, and it's, like, maybe not the nicest thing to do, but I went on just through Craigslist and searched for Lego in my area, and anything that had been up for longer than, like, a week, I just messaged, and I offered what I would, like a very low amount, like what I would actually pay, because a lot of things are listed too high, and sometimes people just take it. A lot of the time they respond and they're like, "How dare you offer me that much?" But like it's because they have their stuff listed for like $50 a pound, and so I'll offer them. It's like if you're bored and there's nothing else showing up. I got a good Technic set once. I actually still have the box for it. I'm trying to get rid of this set right here. I got it used. I think he had it listed for like 120, and I was like, "Hey, would you take 40?" And he was like, "Yeah." I went and got it.
That's
so
awesome.
it's not like a strategy that works very often, but if you go through like older posts and just send a bunch of kind of like Hail Mary messages, it sometimes works. But yeah, so that's the end of our talking about bartering strategies and local lots, I guess.
Yeah. I think this could honestly be 2 episodes. Just we start with the bartering and then the screening and then go to the sorting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we don't need to record the sorting right now, but if we just want to go over the screening and uploading the first stuff.
Yeah, so maybe we do screening and uploading in this episode, and the next episode is sorting and cataloging.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Cool. All right, so you have your bulk lot that you bought, or whatever you have.
You have Lego.
You have Lego. Now what do you do? So, David, you want to talk about this one?
Let's talk about it. So I think this is one of my favorite things about my job as a Lego reseller is that the first like 10, 20, 30 minutes that you have a bulk lot, you just get to dig through and feel like a kid on Christmas. Um, yeah, so obviously pull out any minifigures. If you haven't been selling for a long time, this next point maybe won't apply. But for maybe some of you have been selling for over a while, is pull out anything, any part you see that you've never seen in a certain color. Because at the very least, it's another lot you don't have, and at most, it's a winner or something rarer. So anytime I see something that I've never seen that's Lego, I pull that out right away. All minifigure parts, any winners that you've been on the lookout for, that you see, obviously, and base plates. Base plates are worth quite a bit, and they've usually got good sell-throughs, so you can sort of up the cost a bit to offset the what may be high shipping, or maybe annoying shipping anyway.
Yeah, I don't even ship base plates. I don't even
Yeah.
list them. But eventually I'll sell them all. I have like 60, 70, 80 base plates right now. Sitting in my closet. It's a lot.
I'll take them.
You want them? I'll ship them to you.
I do kind of, because then you could just put it in one box.
Yeah, I could. Yeah.
And people always ask for base plates.
Yeah, let's talk about that after then. Because
Behind the scenes, David buys from Nikki's Eljo.
This happens a lot.
This is Patreon content for tier 8, $100 a month.
You get to see David, and I find pirates in his store, and then I trade him base plates.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say something very profound just now. I can't remember.
Well,
it was base plates. Oh, anything. Okay, if you're a brick store user, which you should be, and if you don't consolidate lots, which you shouldn't, any partially or mostly assembled used set, pull that out, take 20 minutes, add it to a brick store file, part it out on brick store, delete what's not there, throw them in drawers, and you've got a lot of money back. It's surprisingly, because it's better than sorting it as used bulk, because all the it's like receiving a BSX file from a cataloger, except that it's already made and it's free use on Brickstore, and all the parts are together. So
right.
It's great. It's like a nice little bundle of joy and new lot count.
Yeah. Unless it's dirty. If it's dirty, I don't. But yeah, I guess that's kind of so. Instead of digging through, what I do, because everyone does it differently, and I think digging through is I dig through sometimes because there's things I like.
Sometimes you gotta
dig through it, but I also my first step when I get bulk is screening is it's just like my way of screening it is going through, like I'll take a bin, I'll just like look through, and I'll pull out anything, anything that any winners, anything that I think could be a winner. And I put it in a little shoe bin, and then everything else I also you also want to screen for like anything like electronic, any motors or wires or anything like that, magnets, because then at least for me my next step is washing it, and so I'll like take apart, there are always little things put together, I take them apart so they'll get cleaned easier. That's like another additional step that I add on to the screening process is like disassembling things that need to be washed.
Yeah. I like to wash after it's like either category sorted or at least everything's disassembled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing we do differently, is that I wash it before I sort it.
Okay. Great. So, you've screened your bulk. You maybe have even uploaded a little bit of your money back. Now what? I guess you'll have to see next time.
Yeah, so we've been recording for long enough to where we think we're just going to turn this into one episode here, and then our next episode, or the next one we do without a guest, will be us talking about sorting and cataloging. And
or we'll have a guest to talk about sorting with us.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily actually have to be without a guest.
In any case, thank you for tuning in to yet another extraordinary episode of the POP, hosted by the lovely Nikki Zeljo and myself. It's been fun.
It has. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next week.
And don't
Fire.
forget to drop kick that subscribe button.